You know, your website is kind of like your digital storefront. It's open 24/7, ready for business. But is it an expert salesperson, or is it just sitting there? Today, we're going to dive into Maria Veloso's classic guide, Web Copy That Sells, and really unpack the secrets to turning your website into a powerhouse that works for you, even while you sleep.
So let's just start with a really blunt question. Is your website a dynamic salesperson? Engaging visitors, turning them into actual customers, or is it more of a digital scarecrow? Just kind of taking up space and, let's be honest, maybe even scaring people away with a confusing message. It's a super common problem, but thankfully, it's one we can absolutely solve.
This quote right here, this gets to the very heart of the matter. That old school, aggressive, in-your-face sales pitch, it's just dead online. People are so tired of marketing fluff. They're out there looking for real information, for real value. So the big secret? It's all about learning how to sell without ever seeming like you're selling.
Okay, so how do we actually build this silent salesperson? Well, it all starts with a solid foundation built on just 3 fundamental rules. According to Veloso, if you can master these 3 simple principles, you're going to be light years ahead of most websites out there.
It pretty much breaks down like this. First, your site needs to feel like a valuable resource, not just another ad. Second, it's got to have a headline so powerful it literally stops people from scrolling past. And third, and this is so critical, you have to capture their email address. Why? Because most people don't buy on the first visit, and that email is how you earn the right to keep the conversation going.
That first impression, it's absolutely everything. You have just a few seconds on what's called the first screen, that's the area a visitor sees without even scrolling, to prove your site is worth their time. I mean it. This is the moment where most websites either win or lose the game.
And here it is, one of the biggest mistakes people make in marketing, selling features instead of benefits. Look, nobody wants a 1-inch drill bit. What they want is a 1-inch hole. They don't really care about 256-bit encryption. They care that their data is safe. Your copy has one job, to translate what your product is into what it does for them.
So, how do you get those benefits across super quickly? You have to accept a hard truth. People don't read online, they scan. Your job is to make your copy as scannable as possible. Use bullet points, write clear subheadings, keep your paragraphs short. Anything you can do to guide their eyes straight to the good stuff.
All right, so you've grabbed their attention. Now what? Well, the next step is persuasion. And this isn't about manipulation or tricks. It's about understanding the psychology of how people make decisions and then structuring your message to connect with them on a much deeper level.
A timeless framework for this is IDA. Think of it as a journey you're taking your reader on. You start by grabbing their attention. Then you build interest by showing you really get their world. From there, you create a genuine desire by painting a picture of a better future. And only then, at the very end, do you ask them to take action.
Veloso gives us an even more practical blueprint with this 5-question structure. It's like a natural story. You start with their problem, you acknowledge their past frustrations with why it hasn't been solved, then you show them what's possible. You explain why your solution is the key, what's different now, and finally, you tell them exactly what to do next. It's a story that sells, plain and simple.
So why do these frameworks even work? Well, it all comes down to this powerful truth. People buy on emotion, and then they justify that purchase with logic. Both the AIDA model and that 5-question blueprint are basically engineered to do just that, to connect with the heart first by making the person feel the pain of their problem and the incredible relief of your solution.
Hey, remember rule number 3? Capture that email. That's because the sale almost never happens on the first visit. The real money, the real relationship building, it all happens after they leave your website. This is where the follow-up becomes your absolute secret weapon.
Just how important is that follow-up? Well, according to the source material, it could be responsible for up to 90% of your online sales. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. For a lot of businesses, the real money isn't on the website itself, it's waiting in the inbox.
So how do you actually earn that email address? You make them an offer they just can't refuse. It needs a super compelling title, it has to promise clear and immediate benefits, and it must be effortless to get. Reassure them about their privacy, make the form dead simple, and deliver so much value that giving you their email feels like an absolute bargain.
But here's the real secret that all the pros know. Great web copy is never really done. It's not written, it's rewritten. The path to true mastery isn't a single action, it's a continuous cycle of testing, tweaking, and always improving. And the process is actually a simple but really powerful loop.
You start by defining your goal. What do you want to happen? Then you write the copy and you put it out there. But the crucial part is next. You observe, you test, you measure what's actually happening. Finally, you adjust based on that real data, and then a cycle just begins all over again.
And if you think testing is just for making small gains, think again. The book talks about a case where just changing a single headline increased the response rate by 1,700%. That is not a minor tweak. That's the difference between a failing campaign and a runaway success.
So I think the ultimate takeaway here is this. Try to think of your website not as some static brochure, but as a living, breathing tool. It's a dynamic platform for having a conversation with your audience and constantly improving how you turn them into happy customers.
So let's end with this. Right now, this very second, your website is talking. It's speaking for you and for your business. After everything we've just gone through, what is it really saying? And maybe more importantly, is that the message you actually want it to send?